I prepared a presentation to tell you about our training services and what we do and how important training is. Just a little bit about me. My name is Haney. I'm a training consultant at Embridge, but I've been delivering training since 2006 in Aggresso, now Unit 4 ERP. I've worked also for Unit 4 myself as a training consultant and a training leader. And I previously I've ran my own business as a training director and ran my own company. So I'm a big, passionate believer in training, and I've seen the benefits throughout. And I think this is even more important today than at any time before. So just to recap some of the agenda items we're going to go through, the first thing I want to talk about is why training is so important and so key to success when you're implementing business world. It's so fundamental. And then we're going to talk about what our Embridge training offerings are, from end user training to project training, and how important they are, as well as e-learning and videos, how we deliver our courses, especially in the current climate, virtually, of course, being the default, but we have other offerings as well when things change. And I also would like to talk about the project training lifecycle and how important it is to have training throughout your project, the entire project lifecycle. So at certain stages of your project, in the beginning, in the middle, and certainly before go live, which I think training is fundamentally important. We're going to have a little bit of overview of our virtual courses and virtual classrooms and how they run, and why not only now, but I think going forward, this will be one of the default ways to deliver training. I think this will change for good, for many reasons. And the courses are available e-learning, from bespoke to our standard off-the-shelf ones. And finally, we're going to conclude about how to access our training, and then some Q&A at the end as well via the chat, like Tracy said. So one of the key things I'd like to talk about is why training is so important, and it's really fundamental to success. And I've seen it myself for a decade plus now, 14, 15 years in delivering Aggresso training, business world training. And if I were to just summarize it, it is literally because of people. You know, Unit 4 now have a new CEO, and his emphasis is all about people first mentality and approach, and that's a wonderful thing to see. And here's actually a screenshot of myself delivering a virtual training course using Zoom and the delegates that were on board. But people are fundamental to all of our successes at every organization, and it's absolutely critical. For example, a lot of things, a lot of the implementations and the investment that you make in your ERP really is supported greatly by people. And I think this slide was trying to say is that please do not forget, your most important asset. People will drive your business, and training empowers, upskills, and involves your people. And really investing in training is actually part of ERP software implementation. So what this is trying to say is invest in the people, your people as well, not just software. People, again, are the heart and soul of the driving force of every organization. And we know that they are key to success. And it's fundamental to user adoption, especially your business processes and the complexity for which business world and the capabilities and functionality it gives us. And this is actually one of my favorite quotes that I picked up many, many years ago. And if you don't make training and frequent communication with users a top priority, you'll own up a very expensive version of Excel. And this is absolutely true. If you look up training and you look up ERP implementations on Google, there are numerous articles on this. Very, very important. And this is absolutely one of my favorite quotes about training. And Confucius himself mentioned this, 1,000+ years ago, if not more. So tell me and I will forget. Show me and I may remember. And involve me and I will understand. And this is the most important thing about why training is so fundamental. People learn by doing, by being involved. And there's absolutely no reason. We see this regularly. Virtual training today accomplishes quite a lot of that, but training overall is fundamental and key to your success and your implementation. And so many problems can be solved. The system can be enhanced. The system users can get the most out of the system when they are involved and they understand and they have the experience of the software. So a little bit about our Embridge training offering. And we have a number of offerings, training services I'd like to talk about. There's a bunch of training services that we offer, and I'd like to start off with looking at the end user training, the super user training, and we also offer technical training. So anywhere from your end users, your day-to-day staff, to your project team training, as well as technical training and advanced training, we offer this as well. We offer this virtually. We offer this face-to-face on your site, on our site as well. We also offer executive and leadership training and change management training. Our e-learning and videos could also be created to be on demand and self-paced, and they're all SCORM compliant, so they can be published on your LMS. We also perform a training needs analysis, or a TNA, specifically for the end user training element. Well, we need to understand your business processes and train your end users in many ways on your business. We also do the full life cycle of training development and delivery. After the training needs analysis, we develop the courseware as well as deliver it as well. And for organizations that want to have an in-house trainer or trainers across maybe perhaps a large organization, we also offer train-the-trainer courses where we train your trainers on how to deliver business world training. And I'd like us to consider what we offer as a company. We have a number of expert trainers. I'm one of them. My colleague Fiona is another. We have over a decade, each of us, of delivering training, if not more. And we offer a number of packages from standardized training. So that's what we offer as public courses that we can deliver virtually. We can deliver on your site when things change, of course. You could come to our offices in Bristol and Kent. And there's also offices in between that could also be configured to do that. The bespoke training is quite an important part of our Embridge offering that's designed and tailored to your business processes. And I cannot emphasize enough why this is so important. And I've seen such a great successes out of bespoke training, or so-called end user training. And I'll come on to that later on as well. But we also offer systems build training, or so-called project team training, or super user training, configuration training, and even modular specific training, accounts payable, accounts receivable, reporting training, new functionality, workspaces, where Unit 4, of course, is investing quite a great deal. So here's some of our offerings. We offer standard public courses. Again, these are virtual. Some of them are based in Bristol, Kent, your offices. And I cannot emphasize again, end user training based on your business processes, your build, your language, your business language that is most effective. And your users will understand this best. I've delivered many end user training pieces where the feedback given was that the users thought that I was one of their colleagues that worked at their business, because I knew their business so well and their business processes. And they also learned about their business more, not just Aggresso, not just Business World. We also offer familiarization training. So at the beginning of your project, when you're assembling your project team, we give them a familiarization training on finance and the procurement element of Business World, and an overview of the software and how that can help them engage better with the implementation consultants on the workshops. As the training progresses and the project starts, we also offer project training. So that's for the project team, or so-called super users. And it's very, very important as well, as the project lifecycle commences, that UAT training is done. User acceptance training is done for those users that may be involved in UAT, but have never seen the software before. So we also offer this training for them. And as mentioned before, the train the trainer, we can train your people to train effectively in Business World. And they may be very well placed as well to do that. We also offer a training needs analysis that ordinarily has been involved visiting you on site for a day or two, picking your brains on your business processes, going away for 1 or 2 days, writing up a proposal, and giving you a training quote and a training program. But all of this can be done virtually online as well. And here's an outline of some of our training courses that we previously delivered. This was from last year's courses, but this re-emphasizes the fact that we deliver all these courses nowadays, of course, virtually. I just ran myself a session yesterday on bank reconciliation, were one of our customers, and there were 9 people on board. And the course went very well. It was a half a day, and it suited them perfectly because they already were familiar with the bank rec module. They just wanted to learn a bit more about functionality. But all of our courses are flexible. We have a standard courses, from 1 day to 2 days, but they're always flexible in something in between as well, depending on the requirements. And again, here's a sample of some of our upcoming courses in Business World. The traditional, courses, balance tables, bank reconciliation, accelerator, customers and sales, and also the newer stuff as well. For example, the workspaces is not listed here, but we also have them, and all the new technologies that Unit4 are investing in. We also offer e-learning and videos and off-the-shelf training courses. These are just a sample of them, from an introduction to Business World, to entering expenses, or creating sales orders, or goods receipting. But these are also, we can also create them for you as bespoke courses as well, based on your business processes. And that's really, really, again, very, very important and very powerful in my opinion. We also have created a lot of end users courses for many of our customers. So we've tailored a lot of these courses. For example, for BT, we had 70+ modules that we created for them. For the Lincolnshire County Council, we created 50+ modules for them for e-learning. For Shropshire Council, we've delivered 48 modules for e-learning, and they're aimed at end users. So a quick lookup tool, a reference tool to look at your business process is in your build. And again, it's just the fact that it's tailored and bespoke to your environment is so key to success, because it speaks in your language to your users. We also have a Cognito hosting of our e-learning packages that we offer you. If you don't have your own LMS, we can also create the e-learning packages and videos for yourselves, host them on our Cognito website, or you could have access to them as you wish. This is just showing a sample of a bespoke Cognito e-learning course that we've developed, and how customizable it can be. I'd like you to meet us, meet our team. For example, that's me over on the left there with the funny looking Santa jumper. But this is our entire company. Emma O'Brien is our CEO in the middle. I'm sure you probably know us to some extent. But a little bit about us and our training team. I myself have 14+ years of experience. My colleague Fiona has probably the same, if not more. We've delivered between us many large end user training programs, project training programs, and many things in between. We have a specialist training manager at the moment who's special in training project manager. We have a great deal of accreditations from Unit4 and ISO certifications. And we are very, very experienced in delivering training across the board. So a little bit about the project training lifecycle and how important it is to deliver training at the right time in your project lifecycle from beginning to end, and why it's so, so important. At the very beginning of your project, you might start off at the mobilization stage, getting people together, organizing teams. So it's very, very important at this stage. We can also offer change training, change management training, but familiarization training for Business World, to get your users familiar enough with the software that many of them have never seen before, to understand the lingo, the language, attributes, and relations, and modules, and all the different functionalities of Business World and how powerful it is. And we do this in the new Business World, in that we use the latest build of Business World that's mostly web-based, because Unit4 have stated many, many occasions that they're going to move from a desktop and back office or smart client to the web. So the majority of our training, including our familiarization courses, are they're web-based, and they're really, really important that it is. This is also an ideal time to do a training needs analysis and a scoping exercise, whether on site or virtually using Zoom or webinars such as this, to be able to build a training course to meet your aspirations, your build, your business processes, your changes that you can introduce to your users, the new responsibilities they may have, and on it goes. So it's really, really important to plan for training very, very early on. We also offer build training or project training or super user training. So at this stage, your project team are getting together, they're talking to the design with the consultants, and they may want to have hands-on build training. How do I build the system? How do I configure it? How do I troubleshoot it? How do I work along with Unit 4 consultants, the implementation consultant, to build the software? And this is where build training, it's had many names over the years, project training, super user training, but that's what it implies. How do I build the system? It's important for the project team to understand how this is done, what fixed registers are, what attributes are, parameters, and how the system works. It's very, very important as well. The user acceptance testing training is done for UAT users, getting the train-the-trainer courses developed or discussed if it's applicable prior to this UAT and go live. And end user training, I would personally move it just slightly, between UAT and go live to say end user training should be just before your go live stage. You don't want to have end user training long before go live, and then people will forget, of course. And there's also discussion for future refresher training. After you've gone live, after lessons have been learned, after new users are introduced to the system, refresher future training is key. You may also update some of your business processes. And it's really, really critical for some of the most, business critical functions of business world, like whether it's budgeting, that's a common example that changes frequently, or any other business processes. So this future training involves refresher training as well. And that's really key. Virtual classrooms. This is the talk of the town, and everybody's talking about this, of course. And yes, we use Zoom, like many other organizations, the United Nations, WHO, etc. And I absolutely love it as a trainer. And I love seeing people, and I love for them to see me, just as this diagram, this screenshot shows. So they'd see me, I would see them, and we'd all see each other in the same exact way. You make eye contact regularly, talk feedback constantly, as if you're training a real face-to-face course. And the feedback so far has been excellent. And I found it to be even more bespoke and personalized and tailored than before. You'd have access to our training environment. You would do as I do. You'd follow my lead. We'd work off a presentation. And then we'd jump onto the system. We could then share screens together using Zoom. I could share my screen if they're having trouble. They could share their screen with me, and we could discuss. And again, the feedback of this has been brilliant. So this is the current situation now. All the training is done virtually, and I really think this will kickstart us, and this will make training a default feature, standard in the future, virtual training. But all the other benefits have been there for ages. I've been delivering virtual training for years now, using different technologies, WebEx, etc. And I can remember as far back as, from my own experience, 2009, I believe. So WebEx was the big talk of the town back then. But it's very, very important. And people could remote in from anywhere. You don't have to gather people around. They don't have to travel. They can reduce time away from the office, traveling time, costs, of course. There's no reason for it to be in a hotel or expenditure in any costs. And it's totally, totally interactive. I cannot emphasize this enough. We would literally be looking at each other just like this screenshot shows throughout the entire session. Okay, and it's fully interactive, totally and fully interactive. Also, Zoom accommodates many, many users. It's really powerful. I've been on a Zoom session myself when there was 240 delegates, and I never experienced any technical issues with Zoom, because they cater for large groups with even low bandwidth or not so good connections to the internet. So I totally love it. It's interactive. You could draw on the screen. And I think you could probably feel my excitement about this. Now, I wish I could be seeing you now, actually, to be honest. It would make it better. But, hopefully you'll see you on the Zoom sessions as well at some point. So how do we access our training? There's many ways, of course. Online is one of the first port of calls. You go online, you visit our website, where you could download our Unit 4 training catalog in full. And then you could explore our training services that I've discussed now, but also on the website, from virtual training. You can click for courses to view, classroom training as well, looking at our learning management system, LMS, and of course, e-learning and videos, which are really, really important, of course. There are two ways actually training that we will run with yourselves, virtually or otherwise. By default, we will use our Embridge training environment. We have a dedicated environment just for training. We have 25 to 30 environments used in total, so we can run multiple sessions, simultaneously along many of our training consultants. I would log into one environment. I assign the other environments to the other users on the session, and they were totally independent of each other. And again, it's guided by the presentation, but also hands-on in the system. Like I'm following my example and doing the same, then having exercises with Q&A with a professional, a training professional. So I cannot emphasize this enough. This is really important. It's not like this a webinar, one-way traffic of information. It's totally two ways the entire time. I mean, that's what makes it so effective, actually. But we could also use your training environment. And I've delivered training in this way virtually as well. Everything is in the cloud nowadays, so we could log into your environment remotely to develop the courses, of course, to also deliver them. But your training environment is the end user training part of it, the bespoke training to your build. And again, this is the most effective in my opinion over the years. There's a message here. Let's have a look. I think there's a chat message. Oh, yes. Yes. At the end of the course, yeah, if you have any questions, we'll be able to open up the chat as well to discuss. Just some sample feedback of some of the courses that we delivered. They're on our website from various sources. This is a combination of virtual training as well as face-to-face training. And it's really, really important how powerful training can be. It really is a game changer, in my humble opinion, because it changes everything. Sometimes that's all people need is a communication, training, hands-on experience, and it will change everything, just like Confucius said. Okay, and if you involve people and train them, no matter how easy the software is, you'll always need training, because we're not just talking about business world as a software package. We're talking about your business processes, your language, your investment, all the time and effort you're applying, taking your staff off their normal work to implement, the Unit 4 ERP software. So all that effort can really be rewarded. You can get maximum return on investment from training, and I cannot guarantee it enough. I've seen it so many times, and everybody is becoming, people first mentality of Unit 4 is really refreshing to see, and there's no doubt training is fundamental in that. And finally, I just want to talk about our overview of our booking process. It's fairly straightforward and easy. You can book online completely. You can have any special dietary requirements. You can list them. You could choose the type of courses, whether it's virtual, whether it's a specific location, or you could even choose a requested date. You add to your trolley, if you will, and you check out.